Okay, students, so this is your next video about your exam. So it's year 9 foundation class. And so I'm just giving you some important questions you should practice and revise, or concepts which you need to revise for exams. Okay, so let's look at question 12. So question 12 is asking you which of the following is not a linear equation. Okay, not a linear means it doesn't make a straight line graph, so you will not get a graph like this. Okay, that's what linear means. So I've told you that for a linear graph the maximum power of x has to be 1. Okay, so maximum power of unknown x or y is 1. So what you need to do is check not a linear, so this is a linear. Even this one will be linear. Now that will not be a linear because you can see the power of x is 2. Okay, this will be a linear, and when you open the brackets here, this will be a linear. So anything which is x square, okay, or y square, or even if you have x in the denominator, like if you have something like 1 over x. Okay, so all these are non-linear graphs. Okay, so make sure you know which ones are linear and which are non-linear. Okay, let's move on to the next section. Now you should know that m is the slope of the graph. You should know the formula. This formula for slope is rise over run. You should also know rise means y2 minus y1, and run means x2 minus x1. Okay, so in this graph, I'm just going to zoom in a bit. So it says in this graph you asked what is the m and c. Okay, so your m is the slope and your c is the y-intercept. So remember, y-intercept is the point where the graph is cancelling the y-axis. Okay, so that's this point here. So you already know your y-intercept is x0 and y2. That's your y-intercept. And your slope, okay, to find the slope, what you can do is you can either go rise over run, or you can choose 2 points. So let me choose these points. One point is 0 and -2, and the other point is 2 and 2. Okay, 2 on the x, 2 on the y. So I'm going to draw these points with red dots. So these are the 2 points I'm taking, guys. And now I'm going to find the slope. Okay, so m is y2 minus y1. Okay, so if I say this is x1 y1 and this is x2 y2, then y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which becomes 2 plus 2 is 4. So 2 negatives make a positive over 2, which is just 2. Okay, so that means your slope is 2. Now all you have to do is you have the slope and you have the c. You might be given few options, select the right one. Okay, so your m is 2 and your c is we found that, which is -2. Okay, now I can give you some more examples. You can be given graph, or you can be given a point and you're finding the c. Okay, let's try this question. Okay, so again, let's try finding m and c. So what is your m, which is your slope, and what is your c, which is your y-intercept. So check, where is it cancelling the y-axis? It's cancelling the y-axis at this point, which is 0, 0. So your c is 0. Okay, your c is 0, guys, and I'll choose another point. That's another point. So let's find m. So for m, I need 2 points if I use the formula. 1 point we already know is 0, 0, and the other point on the graph is 4 and 1, right? So use the formula for slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2, if say for example is 1, minus 0 over 4 minus 0, which is 1 over 4. That is your slope. Okay, so these will be the questions which you have to practice. Please remember there was a booklet about linear equations I've given you. Make sure you practice from that booklet. State the rule for each of the following, or you can be asked rule. Okay, rule means this is your rule. So y equal mx plus c is your rule. Don't forget that. We've repeated that a lot in the class. Okay, y equal to mx plus c. So your m you've already found and your c you've already found. So this equation or the rule, okay, rule means the equation of this graph will be m is a quarter x and c is 0. Okay, let's move on to the next section. It says the rule for a line whose gradient is 4 and y-intercept is -8. So the rule for a line, okay, just bear with me for a minute. Okay, so let's look at the next one. It says the rule of a line. So please do remember, rule means the equation. It means the equation of a line. Okay. So not to forget, okay, equation of a straight line is y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, so basically you've been given the gradient and the y-intercept. All you have to do is make this equation. So your y equal, your m is 4x and your gradient is plus -8, or you can just say -8. Okay, that's your gradient. Let me give you a few more examples. Okay, what if, so say for example, this is part A. Okay, let's say your m is -5 and your c is, or y-intercept is -2. So your equation will become y equal minus mx, so -5x -2. Okay, let me give you another one. What if your slope is 0 and your c is 5? Okay, so your equation will become y equals, so your m is 0, this section becomes 0. Okay, 0 times x is 0 and your y is just 5. Okay, let me try more. Say for example your slope is half and your c is -5. So your equation will become y equal mx plus c, which is -5. Let's try another one. What if your m is given in decimal, 0.5, okay, and c is 4? So equation will become y equals 0.5. You can write it as half. Please remember 0.5 is half, okay, plus 4. Quite an easy question. All you have to do is remember this equation. Let's try the next section. The x and the y-intercept respectively for the line. So you're finding the x and the y-intercept. So it's saying what is the x and the y-intercept. So please do remember, guys, I have explained that before. If say for example you have a straight line like this, that's your x-intercept, that's your y-intercept. Okay, so y-intercept and your x-intercept. So the point where it cancels the x-axis is x, the point where it cancels the y-axis is y-intercept. So at x-intercept your y is 0, okay, and at your y-intercept your x is 0. Okay, always remember that. So this is your equation. That is your equation. So 2x minus 3y minus 6 is 0. So your put x as 0 when you're finding the x-intercept. Sorry, put y as 0. So I'll put y as 0. It becomes 2 times x minus 3 times y is 0 minus 6 equals 0. Solve this 2x. 3 times 0 will become 0. You have this 2x minus 6 is 0. And how do you solve this? Because you're finding x. So plus 6 both sides. Don't forget that. Or you can just take 6 to the other side. Your 2x is 6. And then you divide by 2 both sides. Remember? So your x becomes 3. Okay. So your x-intercept is, so x-intercept is 0 and 3. And let's say what is y-intercept. So at y-intercept x is 0. Now in the equation put x as 0, okay, to find the y-intercept. So that becomes minus 3y minus 6. So you plus 6 both sides, which becomes minus 3y is 6. And when you divide by negative 3 both sides, you will get the answer, okay. So I might just show you that. So this becomes, I'm now dividing by negative 3 both sides, okay. So your y becomes minus 2. So that means your x-intercept is 0, 3 and your y-intercept is your x-intercept, that was the value of x-intercept. So x is 3 and y is 0. And this is x 0 and y negative 2. Okay. I'm repeating again, guys. You're finding the x and the y-intercept. These are the points where the graph will cancel x and y axis. So at x-intercept, at this point, your y, at this point, x-intercept, your y is 0. Okay. And at y-intercept, your x is 0. Okay. On this x-axis, there's no y. And on the y-axis, there's no value of x. So at x, y0, at y, x0. So all you have to do is to find the x-intercept, put y0. I've done that and found the x. And at y-intercept, we've put x0 and find the value. Okay. So there will be a question like this. Please make sure you practice more questions. There are more questions on your booklet, which I've handed you all in for your linear skill sheets for your linear graphs. Okay, now let's look at some of the questions about measurement. You're converting meters to kilometers. So what is the relation? Always make sure you have this relation. Your kilometer to meter to centimeter to millimeter. Okay. So the relationship is a kilometer, you times it by how much? 1000. Meter to centimeter, you're timesing it by 100. And your centimeter to millimeter, you're timesing it by 10. So if you're converting meter to kilometer, when you're going back, you have to divide, isn't it? By 1000, you have to divide by 100, and you have to divide by 10. So thus, my question here, meters to kilometers means I have to divide 83600 by 1000. So 836 divided by 10 will be 83.6 of the kilometer. Okay. So please practice simple conversions like these. Okay. There are lots of questions in the textbook about this. The area of a parallelogram. So please remember you have to write all the formulas of your area and perimeter. What is a parallelogram? The opposite sides are parallel, right? So this is parallel to this. This is parallel to this. So the area is length, parallelogram is just length times or base times the height. So your base is given 5 centimeter, your height is 2 centimeter. All you have to do is multiply them, which is 10 centimeter square. Okay, just be very careful, you have to write the dimensions. So practice some of these questions: parallelogram, triangle area, your rectangle area. Let's move on to the next one. What is the diameter? So you'll have to remember diameter is 2 times the radius. So if you have a circle, the middle of the circle is called the center. And from the center, any line to the circumference is the radius. Okay. So what is this called? Circumference. Right. So that's circumference. And so your formulas, you're finding the diameter. So diameter is just 2 times. If you extend this to the other side, it becomes the diameter. So your diameter is 3 meter. Okay. Let's give, so let me say it's example A, B. What if radius is 5, then diameter is 10, isn't it? What if diameter is given? Diameter is 20 centimeter. And you have to find radius, then radius is half the diameter. Okay, radius is smaller, so it will become 10 centimeter. So you should know what is a circumference. You should know the formula for circumference, which is also called perimeter. Okay, circumference is 2 pi r, and your area is pi r square. Okay, pi, you should know the value of pi from, you can use it from the calculator, or you can use pi as 3.14. Let's look at what else we need to know. Let's see and find the perimeter of this figure. Okay, so you know 5, this line means it's 5, and this is also 5. That's 4, so that means this is also 4. It's quite an easy question. Just add 5 and 5 is 10 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4, which will give us 10, 20 and 24 centimeter is very important here. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. So the next question I want you to practice is your plotting a graph or drawing a graph. And I'm focusing on your XY intercept method, okay, which is very important. There's a lot of example questions on that, again, booklet which I've given you for linear equations, okay, the skill sheets. So XY intercept method, what is that? So please do remember to draw any graph. If you know where is the graph cancelling at X and the Y axis, you can easily draw the graph, okay, or if it's this way. Okay, or if it could be this way, I don't know, but it's 2 points you need on the X and on the Y axis. So we are using gradient in XY intercept method. So for XY intercept, so at X intercept, your Y is 0, and at Y intercept, your X is 0. Okay, so all you have to do is find these 2 points. What is your X intercept? What is your Y intercept? So at X intercept, Y 0. So in this equation, okay, when you're finding the X intercept, put Y as 0. So 0 equal 5x minus 10, and you solve it. So you want that 5x on the left hand side, so minus 5x both sides. You get minus 5x equal, that cancels, equal minus 10. Then you have to divide by minus 5 both sides, because you want to get rid of that minus 5. So x is just 2. Okay, so your 1 point, which is your X intercept, is x2 and y 0. Okay, that's your 1 point. Then at Y intercept, your X is 0. So put X equals 0 in the equation. 5 times 0 minus 10, which becomes Y equal minus 10, which is quite easy. The second point is x0, y minus 10. Okay, now all you have to do is you have to make the graph. So if I make the graph here, guys, I'll plot these 2 points. So where is 2 and 0? So if, say, for example, this is 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8. And 2, 4, 6, and 2, 4, 6. So you have 2 and 0, which is this point here. And you have 0 and minus 10. So 0 and minus 10 will be, if I'll just zoom this in a bit. Okay, so 0 minus 10 will be somewhere here. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so please remember, this is, I'm going 2, 4, 6, 8. Minus 2, minus 4, minus 6, minus 8, and minus 10. All you have to do is now join these 2 points. Now, of course, use a ruler. Please make sure you bring your rulers. It's difficult for me to do it with the online pen. Okay, so that's your line and you're done. It says, make sure you mark the X and the Y intercept. So this is your X intercept. Label them. So it's 0 and 2. And your Y intercept is 0 and minus 10. And make sure you have your X and the Y axis labeled and the origin. So this is your X, this is your Y, that's your negative X, that's your negative Y, and your origin is 0, 0. And you're done. So this question is worth 5 marks. Make sure you do a lot of practice with questions like these, okay? About 2-3 questions you should practice. Thank you. Let's look at the next question. Okay, for the next question, you're finding the gradient. So your gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is your 38 minus 10 over 10 minus minus 4. Okay, so 38 minus 10 is 28 over 10 plus 4 is 14. Now guys, I've repeated this a lot of times in class, and I've also given you a lot of examples. There are questions in your booklet as well, okay? Practice skill sheets, which I've given you for this topic. You can simplify this if you want. I think two of the 14s make 28. So your slope is just 2. The second one, again, how you can find the slope, convert it into y is equal to mx plus c. I've explained that a lot of times in class as well. That's not in the straight line form, so make it a straight line form and you'll know the slope. So you want only 2y on this side. So remove your 6x, so plus 6x both sides. Okay, so your 2y becomes 6x plus 10. So which actually tells you when you divide, if you divide by 2 both sides, I'll show you that. So you divide by 2 both sides, okay? So you get y equal, so this cancels. 6x over 2 is 3x. 10 over 2 is just 5. So y is equal to mx plus c, and your m is 3, okay? Please make sure you practice more questions like this when you're given an equation in this form and you have to find the slope, or you have to find the slope using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, one of the next questions is we are finding a surface area of the box. Do understand this is a cube, so it's got 6 faces, isn't it? And the opposite faces are equal, as in same, right? So I have 2 of the faces which are like this one, okay, this one, 2 of these opposite to each other. So I'll say 2 times 8 times 7. 8 times 7 is the area, length times width, right? So, and I have 2 of them, so I can go 2 times 8 times 7 plus I've got, you know, this side, which is again 2 times 3 times 7, and then top and the bottom, okay? So I have another 2 of the 7, so that's your length, and width is 3. Being very careful here, guys, okay? So now find what is it, 2 times 7, 8 is, 8, 7 is 56, plus 2 times 3, 7 is 21, and then plus 2 times 7, 3 is 21. So, yeah, so just add them. 56 and 56 will be 118 plus 21, 42 plus another 42. And you add all this and that will be your answer. Then it says you're painting this. Okay, what will the cost of painting the box on all the sides? So all the sides means everything. So all you have to do is 42, 42 is, I'll add this 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10, okay, 1020, sorry, 1002. I'm just going to double check. Sorry, just a sec, guys. So, so 202, sorry, okay, and you've been given the price of 1 centimeter, so this is centimeter square. 1 centimeter square is $5, so the whole cost will be for painting will be 5 times 202. You can use your calculator to find this. So that's pretty much it. So please make sure you practice surface area questions. You practice finding the slopes. Okay, this formula is very important. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and y equal mx plus c. So if your equation is not in this form, you change it to this form, okay? Then you have sketch. There's a question about sketching using XY intercept method. At X intercept Y0, at Y intercept X0, okay? And then FOIL method, make sure you practice, and a lot of these questions. So that's all, guys. So I'm stopping this video. Hope this is helpful, and please make sure you watch the video and practice these questions.